Welcome to this whiteboard-style explainer. Grab your mental markers and clear off your desks, because today we are building the absolute perfect, high-scoring exam answer for UPSC, Commerce, and Accountancy. We're going to take a brilliantly effective piece of management theory and deconstruct it, step by step, so you can reproduce it flawlessly on exam day.
Here is our exact blueprint for today. First, context and meaning. Then, the four perspectives diagram, followed by advantages and limitations, critical evaluation, and finally, pro-examiner tips. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Context and meaning. The shift in performance measurement.
Okay, listen up, because this concept is a major examiner favorite. It has appeared repeatedly over the last 2 decades. We're talking 2023, 2020, 2017, all the way back to 2004. Mastering this topic, it's simply non-negotiable if you want to secure those top marks. You really need to know this inside and out.
To set the stage for your answer, you have to vividly contrast the old with the new. Point out how flawed and backward-looking traditional accounting systems were compared to this holistic, future-focused approach. You know, traditional systems relied entirely on financial indicators, things like profit, ROI, earnings per share. But the problem, those only reflect past performance. It's literally like driving a car while only looking in the rearview mirror. They tell you what happened last year, but completely fail to capture the future drivers of success. You've got to show the examiner that a modern business absolutely demands a wider lens.
And that brings us to the core definition. You'll want to write this down in bold. It is a comprehensive performance management framework that translates an organization's vision and strategy into measurable objectives. Now, here's a crucial tip. When you open your answer, you must explicitly drop the names Robert S. Kaplan and David P. Norton, along with the year 1992. Doing this instantly signals to the examiner that you know your academic history. This framework takes those lofty boardroom ideas and turns them into actionable, trackable data points.
So why exactly is it called balanced? Well, your introduction needs to state that it's a strategic tool balancing 4 critical dynamics. It balances short-term profit with long-term growth. It balances hard financial numbers with non-financial measures like employee morale. It looks internally at processes and externally at customers. And most importantly, it balances lagging indicators, like last month's revenue, with leading indicators, like the number of new patents filed today, which actually predict tomorrow's success.
Section 2. The four perspectives diagram, building the core. Strategy flows into 4 distinct buckets. Think of them as building blocks you absolutely need to sketch out on your paper. In the exam, visualize drawing a large square on a whiteboard divided into 4 quadrants. You've got financial, customer, internal business process, and learning and growth. Every single organizational goal has to map to one of these perspectives.
Now, this is the exact summarized table you should replicate in the exam. But here's the trick. You don't just list these out. You have to explain their causal relationship. It's like a chain reaction. Start at the bottom with learning and growth. If you invest in employees' skills, innovation, and training, what happens? Your people get way better at their jobs. And because they're better, we move up to the internal processes perspective. Your cycle times shrink, defect rates drop, and your overall productivity and efficiency skyrocket. Because your internal processes are now humming along, we look at the customer perspective. Customers get higher quality goods faster. That leads to massive customer retention, satisfaction, and market share. Finally, because you have all these happy, loyal customers, we hit the top, the financial perspective. This naturally drives revenue growth, higher ROI, better profit margins, and increased economic value added. Drawing out this table and explaining that upward chain of cause and effect, that is exactly what separates an average answer from a truly outstanding one.
Section 3. Advantages and limitations. The balance view.
Examiners want to see analytical depth. It's not enough to just praise a concept. We need the pros and cons. Write down these specific advantages, because it forces managers to look at all 4 perspectives. It gives a truly holistic performance evaluation. It creates immense strategic alignment, meaning everyone from the CEO down to the factory floor worker knows how their specific tasks tie into the grand vision. This leads to way better decision-making, it improves accountability since everything is tracked, and it inherently encourages continuous improvement across the whole organization.
But wait, you must show the flip side on your exam paper. Implementing this? Notoriously difficult. Why? Because selecting the appropriate measures is incredibly challenging. If you pick the wrong KPIs, you're going to end up motivating the exact wrong behaviors. Plus, it's a really costly process to set up the software and tracking. And finally, excessive data collection can completely paralyze an organization. A dashboard with 500 metrics is useless. Management needs to focus on the vital few to avoid information overload.
Section 4. Critical Evaluation. The Framework in Action.
This is where you set yourself apart from the pack. Anyone can memorize a list, but a top-tier candidate evaluates it. Your critical evaluation must boldly state that this is not just an accounting tool, it's not merely a performance measurement system, it is a robust strategic management framework. This distinction is vital. Traditional accounting is just keeping score. The balanced scorecard is about actively driving future success, managing innovation, fostering employee capabilities, and predicting where the market is headed before it even gets there.
Conclude your theory section by showing how it bridges the gap. It's the ultimate tool for linking execution. It monitors present realities through financial data, while simultaneously building those future capabilities through learning, growth, and customer focus. It proves once and for all that financial and non-financial metrics aren't enemies. They're literally two sides of the same strategic coin.
Section 5, Pro Examiner Tips, Maximizing Your Score. All right, time for the secret sauce, the exact, actionable tips to ensure your answer gets the highest possible score. Commit this checklist to memory and mentally tick these off as you write. 1. Explicitly write Kaplan and Norton, 1992. 2. Draw a neat, well-labeled diagram of the 4 perspectives. Make it visual, don't just list them. 3. Throw in a quick, practical example, like an airline tracking on-time departures to drive customer satisfaction. And 4. Always end with a balanced conclusion acknowledging both its power and its implementation challenges.
Memorize and underline this exact golden phrase in your exam. The balanced scorecard converts strategy into measurable performance indicators. It is a massive keyword trigger for examiners. When they scan your paper and see that specific phrasing, they immediately know you have a firm professional grasp of the core academic concept.
As we metaphorically wipe the whiteboard clean today, ask yourself, are you ready to construct this perfect answer? You've got the history, the causal chain of the 4 perspectives, the balanced pros and cons, and the exact examiner checklist. The next time you face a strategy question, how will you link execution to vision? Take these tools, practice sketching out that diagram, and go absolutely ace that exam. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep studying smart, and I'll see you next time.